"Do you want to kill yourself?" he asks. And the question sounds unreal, because you never hear anyone ever asking that question.
Ran through, I knew what I had to do. It takes two, or maybe only one. Oh my god, what the fuck is going on? She asked me, what have I become? And I'm looking at her like I know this one. Fader. Daddy, I think
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen. I don't think so. No, 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 no.
Story time of when I realized that the way I grew up was not normal. I want to preface this by saying that I no longer blame my mother for the way I grew up. A lot of therapy has gone into me the past 3 years. And I've realized that the way I grew up, my mother was just using the tools that she had to raise me like she was raised. And unfortunately, she had a very abusive past, just like I did. I grew up in a very chaotic household. There was a lot of yelling, a lot of cursing, a lot of hitting, a lot of spitting, dishes thrown, and mental abuse. So much mental and emotional abuse. There were times in high school that I would gather my things and my dog, and go stay with my best friend and her family. I didn't think I was gonna cry. So that I could avoid the line of fire at my house. Not to mention the boys I dated growing up had a lot of childhood trauma as well. One of my boyfriends and me kind of grew up together, traumatizing each other because that's what we knew. When me and my long-term boyfriend broke up, I met my now husband. And when I finally met his family, I was like, the jig is up. Where's the cameras? Where's Ashton? I don't believe any of this shit for a second. His parents weren't screaming at each other in front of company. They didn't seem to scream at each other ever. His dad seemed like he'd never heard a fly. I was like, false. And my husband could not understand the way I fought for the longest time. And by the way, I used to throw shit like DVD players and break them. Until the first holiday he spent at my house with my family. When one of my family members lost their cool and screamed at the top of their lungs for everyone to get out of the kitchen, my husband, my now husband, boyfriend then, was stunned. He was too stunned to speak. And I'll never forget that ride home. He was quiet for a while, and finally he said, "I get it now." I'm like, "You get what?" He's like, "I get why you scream and why you throw shit when you argue with me." I'm like, "Boy, I've been trying to tell you this whole damn time." Because if you didn't know, we're typically products of our environment. From that point on, I definitely had to work a lot on my anger management, but my husband gave me a little bit of grace. And I started to see more and more whenever I would visit his family that there is such thing as a calm environment for your family. His siblings didn't live in fight or flight like mine did. His father loved his kids. I even remember the first time I saw him loving on his daughters, I was like, what the fuck is this? Go to part 2.
Let's hear what you got.
All right. Well, these
Wrap it up.
And the voice is always there in the back of your head. Just one more time, and we'll stop.
So I went to work at the pet store, and they paired me up with these 2 older guys who were telling me about this war that was really, really bad. It was this lady who recently had a baby, and she was trying to get out of that battlefield, and she was a pilot, and she was driving this helicopter, but it was so hard to get it out of that area that she was struggling, and the baby was crying in the back, and finally there was a smoke bomb that was thrown in, and it completely made it blocked it, smoked it the whole thing out, and she couldn't see shit, so it fell. The helicopter fell. And they were telling me this made the news because when it fell on top of her, crushing most of her body except the upper part, and she landed on a mountain with snow, very, very cold. Her nose completely froze and broke off, so she was missing her whole nose. You could see the bone, and her baby was no longer crying, and they started saying from her perspective that she had said her last days were the best, the most peaceful, because she had her favorite meal as her last meal. She was eating steak that she had in the helicopter, but she couldn't cook it, so she was eating it raw, and she was filled with like blood while she was eating it. And they all stopped telling me this story because a dog showed up to the shop and wanted like a little treat. But then I told them, like, wait, then what happened? Did her kid survive? Did she eventually make it out? And they look at me like I'm the dumbest person there. And they say, no. There was no steak in that helicopter. She went crazy and ate her baby. And then I realized I don't work at a pet shop. I don't know these guys. I don't remember ever getting here. I was having a nightmare the whole time. And I'm still shocked by the story.
Get ready with me as I tell you how my friends and I changed our lives pretty much overnight. So this all started about a year ago when my friends and I had been in our new city for about 9 or 10 months, and everything had kind of started to change. Some of my friends were getting boyfriends, some of my friends were getting new jobs, some of my friends were about to be traveling for 2-3 months. And my friend Megan kept using the phrase, new characters unlocked, new plot lines unlocked. And we started kind of acting like we were in a TV show because it felt like we were in a season finale. Everything was changing. So we just kept making jokes about how we were in the second season of our TV show in our new city. And after the summer was over, we felt like we were moving into season 3, and that's when things really took off. I was explaining season 3 to my best friend Libby, and she asked me to make her a Pinterest board to really kind of explain what a season 3 girl would be like. So we decided our inspiration was going to be Serena Vanderwoodson and Carrie Bradshaw, and we were just going to have the most fun, iconic season 3 ever. We were going to do things we would never normally do, and we created this Pinterest board where we just pretty much manifested all of these things to come into our lives. We just kept asking ourselves, what would a season 3 girl do? And we had this newfound confidence because we were just acting like we were in a TV show. And so if something went poorly, it was for the plot. And if something went well, it was all because of this new, like, fake confidence that we had. From that confidence, we got upgraded to first class on various flights. We got invited into Nobu. We got invited to hotel openings. Just crazy things that had never happened to us before. It was just kind of this aura of fake it till you make it, but it was working. We always had a new story. There was always something crazy happening. One time I was at a rooftop bar, and this bartender brought I asked for a lime wedge on my Cosmo, and he brought it to me on his knees. I was like, this is the epitome of season 3 right here. This would have never happened to me beforehand. We built confidence by disguising it as this little game of like what a season 3 girl would do, but it worked, and our lives got so much more interesting. Opportunities came our way, people came our way, and life was just so fun and exciting and iconic, honestly. So this is your sign to act like your life is a movie or a TV show. Literally, life will get so much more fun and interesting, and I'm going to tell you about season 4 in my next video.
But you never go away, so I guess I gotta stay now. Oh, I hope someday I'll make it out of it.
Story
Story time when my ex-husband called the cops to have me removed from my home, but it backfired on him. Right, so this was towards the end of our marriage. We had agreed on getting divorced. He was unhappy that it wasn't happening fast enough. He was forcing me to pay for the filing fee in full, but I barely had any money, so I wasn't able to file yet, and he was mad. So this particular day, he comes home drunk and mad, following me from room to room and harassing me. He said that I needed to get out of the house because he's the one that pays bills. I told him that I also live here and I have no problem sleeping in the guest room until I can find somewhere else to live. He said absolutely not and continued to call me names and then called the police. 2 male cops arrived. They asked him what's going on, and he's like, this ugly fat B word won't leave. And so I started explaining to them why he's mad and that he's been drinking, and the cop interrupts and looks at him and tells him, first of all, she's not ugly or fat, she's thick and looks good. Lastly, you're not going to be talking about her like that in front of me. This made my ex irate. He started going off on the cop, and the cop was like, if you keep it up, you're going to be in jail. I was getting teary-eyed. The cops took me outside and they were like, technically you can stay here, but we don't want you to stay here, so we're going to get money from him and he's going to get you a hotel. And they did. So not only did they make him pay for the hotel, but they also gave me a ride there. So I got in the back of the cop car, and the cops were like talking to each other, and one cop in particular kept saying like, look how beautiful she is. I can't believe, you know, what he was saying. He's crazy. I was low-key flattered, but my anxiety was also like, whew. Gave me a little pep talk and made sure I got inside safe. And yeah, that was it for this story. But make sure you guys follow, because this is clean talk, vent talk. Oh, I'm cleaning out this dirty closet all the way till 2022. Deuces.